So just got to my car from Gretel Hansel. This is a movie about Gretel, so we're gonna put her first in the title. I get it. I'm just gonna keep this brief because this movie doesn't deserve that much time. The story is bad. The script is bad. The cinematography is bad. The sound editing is bad. The acting is bad. The sound effects are horrible. The story doesn't make sense. It's fake deep. Um, the Gretel actress isn't good at this stage in her career. Um, don't. This movie's bad. Don't see this movie. Don't. There's no reason to.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Graham House Reviews. Today I'm going to be going over Gretel and Hansel. Gretel and Hansel is a retelling of the classic story tale we all know. And the big difference is instead of focusing on them as a unit, this is focusing mostly on Gretel. Um, I do like that it changes it up. I do like how it just focused on one person and how they kind of and how the world interacted with them. And that's about where my positive review ends. There's a lot I can focus on the bad on this video, and I don't like that the two 2020 reviews I have are going to be completely negative, but this kind of deserves it. So as what you probably listened to in the beginning section of the car video, there's a lot wrong with this. And the only thing I really want to focus on right now is the cinematography, sound editing, and I guess I want to call it world building. Yeah, let's call it world building, and just you'll understand what I mean here shortly. So, as I was mentioning in the car, the sound editing is god tier awful. We've all been on this earth for at least 15 years for everybody that's probably viewing this channel. We know what things sound like. And this editing was done in a way that is almost as if we never heard a thing in our lives. And when you rustle through somebody's hair, you know what that sounds like. It doesn't sound like straw getting broken. It doesn't sound like, walking on twigs. It sounds like a little bit of rustling. Or, when you wipe sweat off your forehead, you know what it sounds like, and you know what it feels like, and you know the sensation that you're supposed to get with that. But with this, it felt more like I was supposed to be grabbing some flubber or, some sort of like jelly almost. I don't know why. The sound editing was just it was horrible. There was nothing to be done with it. It didn't invoke any emotion out of me. It didn't make me feel like I understood what this movie was trying to convey with it. It just felt like somebody didn't know how to do their job, and they just were like, "Oh yeah, here's some stock sound. Let's just throw that in." And God, it was horrible. Which you never really understand how much something can throw you out of the movie until you experience it. It'd be like I almost would have preferred this to be a silent movie with text on the bottom, because then I get to hear it in my own head and I get to understand what's going on rather than, oh, they're walking through the woods and it sounds like they're walking on glass the entire time. Okay, guys. There's nothing good about this movie. I struggle to find it. And even, I read threads and threads and threads about people that liked or disliked the movie. And everybody that liked it said, I don't know, it wasn't that bad. I really enjoyed this minor detail that happened for 5 minutes. And I'm like, okay, I see that. But does that make it a good movie? And no, it doesn't. So the next thing, let's just talk about the cinematography. This was trash, and it's almost as if somebody told you about A24 and Ari Aster and Midsummer and Heredity, and they were like, it has triangles and some spookiness, and you were just like, okay, you want motherfucking triangles? We got motherfucking triangles, and that's it. That's it. It didn't convey a sense of spook. It didn't have anything added to it. Um, there was just, it actively took me out because it confused me as to what was happening and what I was looking at and the lighting and just how things were cut and so when you do a cut, right, you're supposed to have the eye line match up. So if I'm talking to somebody over here, I don't cut. I cut so somebody's talking to me like this, right? So they'd be looking at me, right? No, this one did it. Okay, they're cutting here, and then they're cutting somebody looking straight, and they're cutting somebody looking up, and they're cutting somebody looking down, and it just didn't work. You don't know what you're doing. Or maybe, you didn't have the opportunity to do it right, which is valid. I mean, I don't know the circumstances behind this movie because it didn't dictate enough of a deep dive on my part. And I get it. Everything's dark because it's a horror. Things are supposed to be dark. Shut the fuck up and just show me what you want to show me. I'm not watching a VHS copy of Alien. I'm watching a movie shot in 2019 with all the modern technology we have. You don't need to hide everything. We showcase it. Show us what you want us to see. Make it glorious. And then, we can play around with it later. And then there was one scene where I had a running theory the whole time that the witch was actually the cat, or could transform into the cat. And by the end of the movie, I realized that it was just a mistake. So there's a scene where the siblings are talking to each other, and it's shooting back and forth. So, Gretel will talk for a little while, cuts to Hansel, cuts back to Gretel. In the bottom right-hand corner, you see the cat, and the cat's doing cat things. Then, when she's done talking, jumps off. Cuts back to Hansel, cuts back to Gretel. Cat is sitting on the bed again. You didn't hear it jump on the couch, jump on the bed, whatever, which is what you're, sound editing. It was just there. And then cuts back to Hansel, cuts back to Gretel, it's gone. Cuts back to Hansel, cuts back to Gretel, it's there. So I'm like, okay, there's got to be some symbolism here. And I was just looking for it. And I'm like, okay, is the cat the witch? Is the cat a figment of Gretel or Hansel's imagination? Is it symbolic of something more? No, it wasn't any of the above. It was there. It just happened to be a cat that was there. That's it. And then the scenes that it was in that were shot in a way that made me want something out of this was absolutely horrible. There was no reason for it. And then the world building, because I'm already on 8 minutes. This video this movie doesn't deserve a 15-minute kill on this. When you create a world, you have to make sure that how does A affect B, affect C, affect D, right? So if you have a world that has a zombie in it, which the director has gone on record saying that the zombie that's in the movie at about 30 minutes in is in the movie because it's just part of the world. Just like there's rabbit and wolves in the woods, well, guess what? There's zombies and humans in society. Okay, cool. I'm in for it. I like it. I'm watching a movie about a fucking witch. Yes, I'm in. But when you do that, you have to realize how it affects the world. So when you have a opening shot for about 10 or 15 minutes in a city, there needs to be a bulletin somewhere or a mention in a side conversation, not flat out in front of you, but just somewhere it's mentioned that, hey guys, we need people for city defense against zombies, against werewolves, against the undead, against vampires, against witches. We need somewhere in that tells us or shows us that we are now in a supernatural world and not just the normal world, but add a witch in it or add devil worship in it and add all that. That we never got that. Yeah. This movie was bad. Don't see it. It's not going to help you at all. It doesn't. I will say this. If this was a Netflix pilot to a series, I think this was perfect. Because in an hour and a half movie or hour 20-minute movie, if I can cut 30 to 45 minutes and it'd be better, which my all-time stance on video games and movies and music and anything is cut 5 to 10% extra. 1 to 2 songs, cut 5 to 10 minutes, cut, just a little bit more, and it's a better creative enterprise. I can cut half this movie and it's better. Right? So if this was the pilot for a Netflix or Hulu or Prime or fucking Apple TV or whatever the fuck you want to call it, I like it. It would be good because now you have a chance to go into, how does Gretel take becoming a witch? And what happens to Hansel? And what about all the zombies in the world? And, just little builds like that. And if this does become a series and we start to view this movie as a pilot, my take on this changes because my expectations for a pilot go out the window. You know what I mean? Like the bad sound editing, well, you can fix that. The cinematography, all right, let's see what happens with that. The film editing, all right, let's see what happens with that. The millions of storylines that just don't have anywhere to go, let's see what happens with that. All right, so subscribe, hit that bell, I guess, so you know when I upload a video. That'd be cool. Comment. It really, if you like the movie, I really do want to know, and I want to know what you liked about it, because I just find nothing redeemable about this movie other than it could start a franchise, maybe. Like, I don't want to say start a franchise. It could start a series that wouldn't be trash. So yeah, this has been Graham House Reviews. Thank you for watching.